What's going on today, guys? All right, so today we're going to be talking about our Amydriums right here. Okay, we have one that does have fenestration and this one right here that does not. Exact same plant. Well, clearly they can't be the exact same plant. Something has to be a little bit different in order for one to fenestrate and one to not. Now, I originally thought it was because of maturity, but guys, I done had this plant for about a year now and it still has not fenestrated yet. So unless this plant was a baby, which the leaves was pretty much about half this size when I got it. So you could just see the leaves just got bigger and nothing started to fenestrate. So we're going to see. All right, so let's talk about the price of this plant. The price of this plant is going to be a little bit more on the expensive side, averaging about $59 that I've seen for like a plant kind of put together like this, getting all the way up to $100. Now, the good news is that I've also seen this plant a lot on Etsy and so forth that you can get a clipping from for about $15 to $20. And some of them I've seen like $7 or $8, but I just don't trust it from a node and go and so forth. I mean, if you trust the seller and so forth, fine, but I like to have me a plant that's already established, preferably in the pot. I don't like to really buy cuttings unless they're like local because I don't want to be forced to have to do something immediately as soon as I get the plant. But sorry. So yeah, you're looking at the price of that. Now this plant right here, I did buy when it was very small. It had like 2 leaves on it and that was pretty much it. I thought it was going to die because it was a very just slow growing, but we're going to get to that a little bit. I feel like the price is fair because again, you're going to have to get this plant from either a local nursery or you're going to have to get it online. It's not going to be carried in your big box stores. Let's get to the soil. So the soil, when you're talking with these plants, let's see if I can move it a little bit so you get a better little look. Okay. So, and these are in the self-watering container and that one is not. Doing experiments, seeing how they're doing. I think that they're doing fine either way. It's just whatever you prefer. I love the fact of not having to actively water this plant all the time. I do have the grow light over here and I have this moss pole bent just to make sure that it does get to that lighting, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. All right, so soil is going to like same thing that I do for my monsteras. It's the same way I take care of this. Now, this plant is also called AKA Spiderman Monstera. I thought that this was a monstera because I mean they kind of look like this, holes with the slots and so forth, but they're not. And believe you me, when I mislabeled it one time, the Instagram world was quick to check me. So the soil though grows just like a monstera. I put 50% indoor pot mix in there, and then I use something like your perlite and your horticulture charcoal and your orchid bark or whatever else you want to use to go with that. This right here, this is the 50% in the mix, and then they use your perlite and your orchid bark. Gets the job done. When it comes to watering this plant in that type of mix that I have it in, chunky, water this plant once every 2 weeks. If I water a little bit more, I'm going to get yellow leaves and the plant just doesn't like it. It likes to completely dry out before you give it water. When it comes to light, this plant needs a lot of light. I didn't realize that it needed as much light until I moved it. I used to have this plant, just this one, on the floor. This was probably about 18 months ago, and it used to be a lot of monsteras that was on the floor as well. Those monstera leaves would cover this plant up, and it would just sit there. I mean, still was thriving, still was doing good, but it would just sit there. And then after a while, I just wanted to go ahead and move a couple of the monsteras around because it just was getting too big. Noticed that this plant started getting light and just started growing and taking off. And I was like, okay, that's what I need to do. Still a very slow grower in my opinion of, compared to a lot of the other plants that I have. So just to expect that if you decide to get that. Lighting on this plant, you're going to need anywhere from 8 to 12 hours of it. Okay. Grow light with addition to the room light, so forth. The more light, the better. Now, let's get down to my personal opinion of this plant. This is a must buy. This plant is so freaking cool to have. No problems with it. I had so many plants around this plant getting thrips, mealy bugs, so forth. Never phased, never caught any of it. and it's been growing at a continuous rate, very, very, very slow. But I know to expect a leaf on this plant once every 2 months. That's just how it's going to grow. Now, you do have to go to the local nurseries in order to buy this plant. So it is a kind of hard sought after plant to say, but it's not a rare plant, even though it's always advertised as rare. You can get this plant online anywhere. You just got to know what to look for. I definitely would say that if you are into monsteras and you are looking for a plant that's just very chilled and easy to grow, that you go with this. That's all I have for y'all on this one. If you like what I talked about, make sure you like it. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe if you already haven't. Y'all take care.